Our whole mission, even when we started this business, was not to come up with the newest and greatest. It was to perfect this true standard.
We're not trying to reinvent the holster wheel, so to speak. It's just keeping things simple. That's what people like.
And comfortable.
And comfortable.
Yes.
And simple is
Make
comfortable.
it a good, reliable, comfortable holster.
Welcome to Lock and Load Podcast. My name is Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
And we talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. Today, our special guest is Matt, Michelle's husband.
Yay!
From PatriotWear Holsters.
Same place, yeah.
Yep, same place. Same time most of the time, too.
Yeah. 24/7.
So today, I'm going to be asking the questions, kind of interviewing, I guess, both of them. More Matt, though, because, Michelle's here all the time. So,
well, and this is his shtick. This is what he does. Like, this is his
so we're going to be talking about custom holsters, which is what Matt does. Michelle does all the regular holsters.
Yes.
But Michelle's basic. But Matt does all the extra.
Yes, he's my extra.
The complicated stuff.
The complicated stuff, like chest rigs.
I'm okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun podcast.
Yeah, we're keeping this PG. I saw where that was going there. Maybe some of you did too. Who knows? So there are some guns that are here. They are cleared. We already checked that, so nobody's going to end up with an extra hole in them. But they will be using them to show some stuff along the way here.
Explanations.
Show and tell.
So a lot of you guys probably own guns, probably have a holster, hopefully from PatriotWear Holsters and not some other shitty ass companies that are on Amazon and Google. But we won't name them.
No.
But you probably don't know how holsters are actually made, especially the new stuff, not the common stuff, right? Or just in general. But Matt is kind of like the go-to of the Matt and Michele combo here on making custom holsters. So whether they have a light, flashlight, maybe it's a new gun without what is the metal part called again?
Polymer? Wait, the frame?
How you make your holster.
Oh, the aluminum mold.
The mold. There we go.
The molds,
thank you.
Yes.
The molds.
Or if they're old guns. A lot of times we have people that come in with older guns that have phased out. They've had them for a while, so they're not popular. I don't necessarily have the molds for those.
And nobody has a mold, so that's where I come in.
Yeah, so Matt, why don't you give a slight background on yourself in the holster company? Like, why do we dive into holsters?
So why we dive into holsters? So a lot of people, they have a gun, they want a holster for it. It's outside the mainstream, or it may be mainstream, but they can't find a holster. Nobody else makes one. There's no molds on the market. So we have to make a holster directly off the gun, for example. And this is clear magazine. So customer will drop off their firearm with us. It's just like this. And what we have to do is we have to mold a holster directly off of their actual gun. So I have a kit. It's like a parts kit that I've made with all different kinds of wood blocking materials, and you have to fill in all of these areas.
I call it his arts and crafts kit.
Correct. I'll show the arts and crafts kit in a minute. But it's fillers, because you can't mold a holster over an open part of the gun, because the hot Kydex will press into that.
Gotcha.
Basically everywhere, including the trigger guard. It's going to just fill any open gap in the gun.
You won't be able to holster or unholster. It'll lock.
It'll just lock. It'll never ever come out of that holster.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting. Never thought about that.
And that's true. And nobody does. It's one of those things where you just don't think about it.
So like
holster.
And I've seen you guys make them, but like still in my mind, it's like, oh, the gun's there, and you kind of like vacuum seal the holster around it and move on with life. No. But it's obviously a lot more complicated than that. So why don't you give us
hours worth of
is this your Lego kit?
So yeah. This is my kit that has all of my sight channel dowels in it. It's got blocking for ejection ports. You just insert these into. It creates a flat spot.
But he's made all these from
scratch.
How
often do you lose them?
Not very often. I use them. They sit on the bench. When I'm done with them, I put them right back in here, because if I lose them, then I have to make them all over again. And some of them are a little complicated to make. Some of them are easy. It takes like 2 minutes.
And we have wood, we have plastic, and we have metal, depending on where the blocking goes and what needs to be done. If that makes any sense. Because some, like the wooden pieces, can fit in nice and tight, but then you have metal pieces for going up to block out where you have your slide locks and all that kind of stuff.
So, for example, this is a finished product blocked out. So I've added wood to the ejection port and the other side too, because it has a little void where it has to be filled or else it's going to catch. For this particular model, I had to remove the thumb safety, take the thumb safety lever right off the gun, put a wood piece over it so that when the Kydex is molded over the holster,
it's not going to grab on it.
It's not going to mold into it or grab onto it. And then I can attach the safety, screw it back on, and there's plenty of room within this area for the safety to be used on or off, holstered, engaged or disengaged. Whereas if I would mold it directly over the safety, it wouldn't work at all. You'd have it molded in that particular safety position, whether it's engaged or disengaged.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we have to, and
then you blue tape the crap out of it.
To add layers and width. Okay. Direct molding it, because everything has serrations on the slide.
Yeah.
If you mold into serrations, that's going to lock the holster
stuck in there too. Okay.
But that's exactly what your gun will look like when it's completely finished, prepped, and ready for molding the Kydex over it, whether it's an inside the waist or an outside the waist.
Okay. So I know over the years, we got introduced back in probably mid 2021, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a while ago.
And started carrying some of your holsters. And so I remember you've kind of graduated over the years. I remember the 365 XLs. They had a different optic cut than they do now. And I think they're changing those again to a rail on the bottom, I guess, because there's no 365 XLs in inventory at all right now. But you guys used to have non-optic ready models and optic ready models. And that was a whole different SKU for you guys. Now I think they're just all optic ready, right?
Correct.
There's no option for that.
Things optic ready.
Over time, we found that whether or not the slide is cut, there's a lot of people that are going out and cutting them for optic.
Yep.
So instead of making a holster that they may not be able to use, if you do it optic cut across the board for pretty much everything, unless there's certain guns that you just know they're never going to optic cut these, but most of them, that way it can be used even if they choose to put an optic or not. It doesn't hurt the way it carries. It doesn't get in the way of any of that. So we have graduated over the years as we've learned more, as we've gotten bigger, as we've gotten better equipment. Obviously, everything continues to get better. At least that's the goals with most companies. You try to grow and get better, more practice. We look back, he has a custom that he was making way back when we first started. And every once in a while, he'll bring it out and show it to me. And we go, wow, we've come a long way. Just because you see how the more you do something, the more you find better. And and with his customizations and what he does off the gun, I cannot do it. I don't have the visual ability. All right. When I take a regular gun and then I look at that block gun, it looks like a brick and a gun. And I don't understand how you make it to this. It just doesn't click for me. We've talked about that. I would love it too. It does not. That's why I do this.
So you make the money from the regular ones. Matt makes all the specialty money.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. That's why
that's how you split it up.
Yes.
Got it. I think that works out.
But when you look at what he does and the definition that he can do off of a custom, it's amazing, because there's a lot of people that cannot get the actual definition that he does. It doesn't look like it's all made from scratch.
I mean, this is a custom inside the waistband with a light. It's a 320 compact with, I believe that's a TLR1, and it's clean. It's not. Some people can mold something with all the materials that I put on it, and they shift. They move, they bend when the hot Kydex and all the pressure is on it. So, you want a custom holster to look professional looking, decent looking. You want it to function correctly, not like a 3-year-old made it in their playroom.
Folded it over the gun and slapped it together.
Just took a piece of Kydex, folded it, and it just went, there you go, which some companies do, believe it or not.
There's plenty of them that do, and then just have a little crush washer, and then you have to tighten it, and then you tighten it too much, and then your gun's not coming out.
Yep.
So that is always interesting. I know you make chest rigs too. I don't know if you brought one of those.
No. I did not. It's basically a strap system.
Yeah, it's like 3 straps, right?
It's actually 2 straps. One of them slides into one another with like a loop system. So it goes around your rib cage, and then it goes over, and the other strap goes over your opposite shoulder, and it tethers in 3 spots right to basically an outside the waistband holster that is canted slightly to whatever your dominant side is. So you can draw and go straight out.
So you guys make inside the waistband, outside the waistband, appendix?
Appendix, yep.
How many appendix do you guys sell? Do you sell a lot of those?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, I don't think pointing a loaded gun at my no-no square is a great idea, but that's just me. You know.
I mean, here's my thing with appendix. I even carry appendix too. If you,
hopefully it's not a P320.
No, it's not. No.
That was a joke if you guys understood that.
Oh yeah. But yeah, if you appendix carry and accidentally shoot yourself in the junk,
your no square.
You probably shouldn't be carrying a gun. You probably shouldn't have a permit. That's just it's negligent.
Well, because at the end of the day, if you're going to have a negligent discharge, drawing from there, you're going to have it's your behavior.
Well, most of the time it's probably putting the gun back in, normally getting caught in clothing.
But you could have that on your hip then too if you're not aware and doing it properly. No matter where you carry that,
jam shit in, and I'm like, you're supposed to put your whole gun back in your holster reluctantly. I think it's the right word that I've always been taught.
Interesting. I haven't ever heard that.
Yeah. So doing like blue card classes for armed guard, that was like one of the sentences, like holster your gun or reluctantly holster your gun or something. So it's like, put your gun back in the holster slowly and safely, and don't shoot yourself in the foot. Right. It's kind of what that all translated to.
Same applies to appendix carry. Be cautious and don't shoot yourself. Yeah.
I like it because it's a quick draw up and straight out. There's you're not sweeping anyone anywhere. It's a straight up your body and right out.
So you guys have those little arms that add on to the holsters too, right? What are they called?
Wings.
So what do the wings do?
So it's called an appendix wing or a claw.
Okay.
Most holster companies, if not all of them, employ some type of appendix wing if they're making a dedicated appendix holster, and it mounts under the trigger guard or it mounts off to the side of a lighted holster. And all that wing does is it goes inside the waistband behind your belt with the holster. The belt clips to the outside of your belt, and that wing pulls the grip closer to your body to make it more concealable. Okay. So without the wing, the grip might poke out the front of your shirt.
Yep.
And somebody might, oh my God, he has a gun.
Well, and if you have a bigger gun, you have that 90-degree angle right off your body.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is a little more, your shirt will get caught on it. It'll catch people's eye a little bit more. Whereas if you have the wing on it, not uncomfortably so, but it just
angles it a little bit.
Right.
More.
It angles it back into your body so that instead of being at a 90-degree angle, it's slightly canted back into your body.
Yeah.
And it actually, it really helps.
Some of the smaller guns you really don't even need in a wing.
Can you add those to any regular holster?
Most.
Yeah.
Any inside
insides, yes.
Common stuff.
You need different. You need the wing. If you take an appendix and go to an inside, then you need certain washers. And there's people that come in and we talk to, and if that's the case, we'll give them all these stuff that they need in their holster so that they can make it convertible in that way.
They want that. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. Colors. So I know you guys do a ton of colors.
Correct.
Patterns, fiber, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So is that your idea or is it a Michele idea?
Everything, the custom Kydex?
No, yeah, the colors and everything.
That's neither one of our ideas. That's just something that
market
had to be done because literally everyone else offers the same.
What's the best color? What's the worst color? Like the worst color that you have and best one besides black.
White.
White? Yeah, white. Good or bad?
Bad. Worst seller. It gets dirty and a lot of people don't want just the white. Best seller
besides black.
Patriotic, like collage flags, things like that.
The camos. There's a lot.
Camos are hit or miss too.
And we have double-sided. So we have a black carbon fiber with a color like he has
that pink
over that one. It's red.
So it's red on the inside, but the outside's all black carbon fiber. These are pretty popular and they can come in red, Tiffany blue, green, orange,
green, lime green,
hot pink,
purple.
purple,
all kinds of colors.
blue.
When I shop for Kydex, I tend to look at the website and I tend to just buy stuff that I think is cool. And if it goes, then I buy more of it, but I buy a small amount if I see something that is just neat. And like, we got into this thinking it would be good it would give women something to make a holster theirs, and maybe promote females to carry a little bit more, was my thought. Turns out, no, not at all. Most women want a black holster.
Black Kydex, that's
Black
it.
Kydex, that's it. The guys, on the other hand, you tell them we have colors and patterns and they go, what kind?
Mhm.
And they shop. But it's a complete reverse of what I thought it was going to be. I think it's cool. Like, when you have more than one carry gun and you have holsters for your carry guns, it's nice. My plan is mine are all kind of color coded or pattern coded. So if, like, I have one gun that's all camo, so because I have several holsters for my carry, depending on how I'm going to carry that day. So one gun I have in all camo patterns. So I have 4 holsters in camo patterns. I have another one that's mostly floral patterns.
In case you're feeling flowery.
Yeah, when I'm in my flowery mood.
Is that like a Mother's Day kind of carry?
Not this year, but maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
I like I'm not very girly, but I do like the flower pattern that I have, a couple of them. Yeah.
I think you have a sunflower one, right?
I have sunflowers. I have it looks like a watercolor. I think it is very close to a Monet print, like the lily pad, but it's not quite, but it's like that. That one caught my eye. That one's actually a pretty good seller too. They all sell. It's funny. Like, we'll look and go, oh wow, that one's not moving. And then next thing you know, it's gone.
Yep.
It ebbs and flows. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the gun. It is the gun industry.
The
but
gun can sit there for 6 months and then bam, gone one day.
Yeah, and then everybody's looking for it.
Yeah.
Same with Kydex.
It's the
it
same
could sit
thing.
there for literally 8 months, and then somebody will come through. They like it. They buy
It's
it.
gone, and then 3 other people want the same thing that's been sitting there for months.
Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So here's a controversial question, Matt.
Okay.
Why do you hate Olights?
Why do I hate Olights?
Oh.
Okay.
We're winging this, guys, and I was just like, what else can I ask?
All right. So the thing with Olights is they use a unique style of mounting device to mount to the Picatinny rails or whatever light rail.
Isn't it kind of like a clamp down?
Yeah, it's a flat flip latch with a very large hinge on it. Yep. And also their buttons, the activation buttons,
are on the side too, right?
They're they can be on the side, so you have to side press instead of a direct front press. Some of the worst ones are the Olight minis, where you have a rail that mounts to the Picatinny, and then you have an individual ratchet slider on the light. So it can be mounted in 15 different positions, and customers want a holster for it. And I mold it in the position that
they give it to you.
It would be put in, and then something changes. They don't like it there. They move it, and then they wonder why the holster doesn't work. Well, because it's not in the position it was when it was molded.
Plus, with the latch system to hook it to the mounting, you can pull a holster out and it will release the latch. So your light either goes flying or it stays in the holster and the gun comes out.
So for what I'm hearing from this, Olights are great for the home defense gun that sits on your nightstand that you never take out anywhere.
Yes, it's a mechanical issue, and that's why many, many, many people have a very hard time finding a holster for it, because it's not just us. It's a very hard light to work with.
It's like another person who was distributing Olight flashlights, and he's like, I like the Olight flashlights, they're great, the weapon lights, and it's like what I tell our customers, I mean, they're good as long as you're okay with it not working all the time, which is exactly the same thing. That's what happens. Just do yourself a favor, don't cheap out on a light. If you're putting it on a gun, go with a reputable brand, go with Surefire, go with Streamlight, go with Nightstick, Mod Light. Yeah, they're expensive, but
there's a reason.
If you're using it for self-defense, you don't want it to fail.
We've had conversations about Holosun, but even they make a light now too.
They make a light now too.
So.
Yes, they do.
Go with I tell people this too, especially with like AR platforms. I know that's not obviously holsters, but like get a name brand red dot.
Yes.
Do not buy the Amazon special.
No.
Because that's designed for BB guns and it's going to break after. As somebody who did that back in the day, not owning the store yet, I got one of those cheap red dots, and it was great for like 50 rounds until the screws all came out undone and nothing would stay zeroed.
The same thing is for holsters. People drop off guns or want to drop off a gun with us all the time. I need a custom holster, but I have this light or a light laser combo. Hey, I bought it off Amazon for like $30, and I made that mistake once. I made a holster. It was an Amazon $20 light, and what happened is the glass, which isn't glass, it was straight plastic, melted, and it burned out 3 of the LEDs. So
we had to buy him a new light, but it was only $20. So
yeah, you know,
there's, you know what, when you're
it did
when you're using a firearm and whatever accessories you decide to put on your firearm to protect your life,
do your research.
Don't cheap out.
Yeah,
don't cheap out.
Yeah, you know,
Stay
there's a lot
Amazon.
of really good brands out there, and you don't have to pay, $500, but you don't have to
pay more than 20.
Yeah. $100 is a good average price, and it's a good light at the end of the day. I mean, nightsticks run 100, 120, something like that.
State police use nightsticks.
Yeah.
You guys carry some stuff in the store too, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
What do you carry?
We carry nightsticks. We carry the Streamlight, so TLR 7s, the HLXs. We have the TLR 8s. We have the subs. So a whole bunch of Streamlight, versions. And then we have Surefire. So we have the 300U, the 300 Turbo, and then also their pistol light.
Okay. And then on top of just holsters and lights, we got one more thing in there, and they're called belts.
Yes.
Correct. So I bought a Core is the company.
Yeah.
Right? So Core stocking dealer, whatever. I don't know what the terminology is.
Stocking dealer.
We are a stocking dealer.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So went and bought the Core belt from you guys, and as much as I wear a lot of gym shorts and that kind of stuff, I have worn the Core belt, and I don't hate it. I like it. It reminds me of a duty belt. So when I worked for the armor truck company for 3 years, I would have my normal belt, and then I would attach a duty belt to that.
Correct.
This is much kind of like that, but all in one. And really nice ratchet system that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smooth ratchet system.
I don't have to go and find the little hole and clip it into that. Just click, 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 and then done.
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah. It takes 1 or 2 tries to understand it. So when I was in the store, I was like, all right, how does that work? Oh God. How does that work? But once it's on, you're good to go. Once you figure it out, it's a very nice system.
It's actually they're very comfortable. We started carrying those because he and I had done some research, and we really liked the belts. And most people don't understand that a belt is actually the foundation of your carry. If you don't have a good carry belt, or a good belt, maybe I should say, then when you carry a gun in a holster on your hip or in your waist somewhere, it's never going to be as comfortable as it could be. And you have more movement. Sometimes the holsters won't sit right. And we hear, before we started carrying the belts, we would hear the holster doesn't sit. The holster doesn't work right. The holster this. And every single time they came in with that,
it was their belt.
It was their belt. And so I would say, you need to go buy a belt. And they go, okay, well, I'm going to Walmart tomorrow. That's not where you want to get a good belt. The beautiful fashion belts, they work fine for fashion, but you need a belt with some substance to hold that weight. Because even though it's a small gun, a lot of times that's still weight on that belt.
And most people, especially new people, don't understand carrying to an aspect.
Correct.
Well,
carrying a gun for 3 years while working for that company, you get used to it.
Yes.
And then now it's just continued. So I'm used to looking at clothes or pants or whatever and understanding that. Now, or most people now don't understand that. We talk about it in class because it's part of the curriculum.
Yeah, but it goes this way.
Yeah.
It just right in and out.
Yep.
It just kind of is over their head. Because they're focusing on the gun. They're focusing on, most people don't even understand the holster concept of the gun. So, and that comes with learning, that comes with experience, and it comes with finding some place that can help you with those things. And, I never wore a belt prior to becoming, carrying a gun. And then I had some crappier belts that I learned real quick was not the way to go. And then I had some really nice leather belts, but the leather belts you go through in a year.
Yeah,
Because
they start to bend.
they start to bend. They just get too pliable. They don't keep that rigid. And by rigid, I don't mean uncomfortably rigid. I just mean slightly, it has to have enough substance behind it. And when people would come in and talk to us before we had the belts, we'd have to explain, go get a belt. And we started talking and we were like, you know what? We really ought to just carry belts.
Yeah.
We're selling holsters. The foundation is the belt. If we can get people, give them an option, and it wasn't just an option. We didn't just go to a distributor and pick up, Joe's belts because I could buy them and make money. It was more of, this is a good item and it will help them and give them the background, the basis, I guess is what it comes down to for how to carry.
And if you don't wear a belt, we have options for that too.
Correct.
It's called an ulti clip.
I have that for my 43X.
Yep.
Yes.
So if you don't wear a belt a lot of the time, you just wear sweatpants. Your women wear leggings. You wear,
jersey shorts,
whatever.
Gosh.
It's a spring steel clip. Your waistband goes underneath the hook. This clip mounts to the front of the holster. You snap that clip down, lever, and that's now hooked to your waistband.
I remember our first, when we did kind of our intros about us and everything, those videos way back when. And I think I brought my 43X that day because that was the holster I had. And a piece of paper gets stopped in that clip.
Mm-hmm.
You trying to take the piece of paper out, you rip the piece of paper.
You rip the paper, yeah.
So it's super tight.
And to explain so people understand, because they go, I'll just put my inside my sweatpants. Well, if you have an inside the waistbands, and Matt will hold one up, are made to hook at the bottom of the belt. So that way the holster stays in your pants when you have a belt on.
So that would be one of these. It's made by a company called Discreet Carry Concepts.
That's our upgraded clip.
This is an upgraded clip. It's
a
metal. Yeah, it's a metal, heavy spring steel, and it's strong. It takes a lot of effort to open up that belt clip to get it over the belt. But it has a hook underneath where it goes under your belt. So you can use this without a belt too. And that hook will prevent the holster from sliding up over a waistband or a drawstring or whatever.
But that might also rip your pants.
Yeah, if you're too aggressive with it, it will poke holes in your waistband. Whereas
the ulti clip
too
won't.
Aggressive with it.
Okay.
But
that's
the
an
plastic
upcharge.
one doesn't. So when you put the plastic one in and you don't have a belt to hold it in there, and you go to draw your gun, you're drawing your holster, your gun, and everything.
Yep.
Surprise!
These are plastic clips. They work great on belts. Sometimes you get lucky. They'll grab the waistband of sweatpants or whatever. But
they'll grab the string.
That plastic is just not enough.
Yeah.
It will slide up and over eventually.
I think that was one of the conversations that we had. Because I had it for the 43X. And then I was like, I think I Googled something, found it, and I was like, do you have something like this? They're like, oh yeah, that's the ulti clip. And then I think I brought it over there, or you came here, whatever, and swapped it out, and that was that.
Yep.
Even these belt clips.
Yeah. So what are those? Those are different too.
These are made by Discreet Carry Concept as well. It's called a monoblock. So it looks like your plastic fold over mold injected foamy clip, but it has two independent tabs
with the more aggressive teeth on it, so it holds
the
really
underhooks on it. Okay. So these work fantastic for custom lighted holsters. This is a no extra charge toss in when you get a custom holster made right off your gun. So we use these. We don't use the plastic foamy clips because over time they warp. And then eventually you're drawing your whole holster out of your pants. Whereas this doesn't lose any tension at all.
No, those are fantastic.
What are the toys you got over there?
So just to show you, this is an outside the waistband with a FDE flag print.
America.
So
that was also custom molded.
This was custom molded off the gun.
Aluminum mold.
I don't know if your camera will pick it up, but
we'll hopefully edit it and post up.
Custom molded with 1.5 inch belt loops, and this is, I think, for a 229 with a TLR 8A laser.
Yes,
light laser combo. Yep.
So why do you have that?
Why do I have this?
Did somebody not pick it up?
Yeah, precisely.
They become your examples.
Well, some of them we actually make, for when we go to shows and events, we'll make certain ones that we think, okay, just throw different combinations together, because even if they don't sell at the show, people see what we can do. Some of them are customers that did not pick up their guns or pick up their holsters, but others are are just made. We have a whole wall of basically already done custom stuff that people can choose from. And many people buy off of the wall because they come in and we happen to have what they're looking for in a print they liked. But it's
so if somebody wants a custom holster, how do they do that?
So they can submit a custom holster request online on our website. What
is the website?
It is PatriotWearHolsters.com. Our website's being updated, so it's going to go live in June. So we're having a whole new website.
But it'll be the same thing.
It'll
just look a little different.
Jim do a lot of work?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the same website guy.
Yes, we do.
And they can call us at 203-200-9043. And we're happy to take orders over the phone or have a conversation about, what's possible, what you're looking at, that kind of stuff, give you ideas.
Most people just stop into the shop and they're like, here, take my gun. I want this, and this. And that's what we do with customs. And just one thing I do want to touch on with customs, when a customer drops off a gun for a custom, a lot of them go, hey, take my gun and you can make a mold off of it. And then, you're set. You won't have to borrow that gun ever again, which isn't the case. If somebody wants a custom, say an inside the waistband for this Walther P22, we tape it all up. We make the holster, give it back to them. It's a one-time thing. So if they want another holster, an inside, an ulti-clip, and outside, we have to do this whole process over again. So it's not like we take the gun once, we do this, we make a mold, and then we're good. We can replicate it over 50, 100 times.
And
it's a one-off every single time.
Right. And the reason we don't make a mold is we do not have the equipment to do such. It's not that, other companies, these big holster companies, they can make molds out of anything and everything that they want. They have the injection molder, plastic injection molders. They have the CNC machines. They have the CAD guy sitting at his desk doing all these programs every single day. But you need certain machines to be able to do a mold. You can't just, we have a CNC router machine now, but that just cuts shells. It will not make a mold.
I actually will.
My bad.
It will. If you design, you can scan a already existing mold or a gun, put it into a CAD program, split it.
Yeah, but it won't give us our aluminums.
It will not give you aluminums, but you can make a mold out of a HDPE, high density polyethylene board. Yeah. But you can't make a mold for everything.
I feel like when you went really technical there, you just lost everyone.
HDPE, high density polyethylene. So it's basically white polyester.
Because I was like, those are words. I know some of them. But very technical there.
Basically, we can't do what we want to do. So eventually, maybe I would like to get there.
Getting there.
It's continuing on with the whole growth process.
Well, shit's expensive.
You have to have a demand for it because R&D, the development, the cost, because you're going to screw up. I don't know how many molds. It gets costly. Somebody's like, yeah, can you just make a mold for, whatever it is? Yeah. It's like, not really. We have to have more demand for it. So maybe down the line.
Is the cost worth it?
So I know we were talking about SIG before. Why is SIG driving you up a wall?
SIG, Glock.
Glock
the main guys. Go ahead,
well, Glock
Matt.
just discontinued. So our Monday morning podcast 2 weeks ago, I just shared about how Glock discontinued 30 models.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So are you going to continue to, we'll sidetrack off the SIG comment. Are you going to continue to make those models even though they're dead?
Yes. Because people still have them. So, I already have the molds for them. I already have them. So of course I would still offer it up. I think getting down the line, they're going to be harder to find. It's sort of like finding certain guns that were around in the early 90s, 80s. There's no holsters for those because they've kind of phased themselves out. Yeah. So I think down the line, it'll get harder to get, but I will always keep some of those in stock as long as I'm selling them. If it ends up where they're sitting for a year, nobody has bought one, I probably won't make many more.
How are the EZs doing? Starting to fizzle, right?
Yeah, they're fizzling.
Yeah, if you noticed on my last order, I didn't order anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're just starting to fizzle out. And I'm like, I'm not going to go carry all these, because I was ordering 4 380s and 4 9mm all the time.
Yep.
Because I get down to 1 order, another 4. And I honestly can't tell you the last time I sold an EZ. And great gun. great gun for people with hand issues, arthritis, anything like that.
Disabilities.
I don't know what's happened.
It's the ebb and flow. It's the typical ebb and flow. But getting back to SIG, Matt will take that one because Matt's so pleased.
So I have multiple profanities for SIG right now, but we're not going to go into that because it's not child appropriate. So
like if there was like a little microphone in your store, you'd get canceled 72 times.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So when did it come out? I don't know. It was like a year and a half ago.
What?
The original.
The macro?
No, the AXG Legion.
Okay.
SIG.
Yep.
I think it was a year and a half ago. They came out with the AXG
steel
Legion.
frame. Yeah. P365.
Yep. Nice gun.
X macro.
Great
AXG
gun.
Legion alphabet.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So metal frame.
Yep.
You know, it's got the comp in the slide.
Yep.
You know, all that good stuff. So
super hard to get, super popular,
and it didn't. Yeah, super popular.
But
and
molds weren't available. We couldn't get a mold for it. So we were doing a ton of customs.
And it didn't fit in the macro holster.
No.
So
yeah, you said that.
Just I think 2 months ago, we got some AXG Legions at the store. I grabbed one because I was going to fold. I'd just gotten a brand new aluminum mold for the
because it takes
AXG
months
Legion.
to get one of these new molds.
4 or 5 months.
Like the last order or whatever. And I grabbed some because you're like, oh, I have them now. I'm like, all right, cool.
So I go out into the case. I grab this, Legion. Okay, fine. Go start to fold some insides. And I'm just going, okay, why are these not fitting? And
they changed the mold.
He called SIG. So he actually called SIG.
So I called SIG.
And you're just like, what the?
I got passed to a couple people because nobody knew what I was talking about. And then finally got in touch with somebody who is on charge of production. Okay. And they're like, hold on, I'll look into it and I'll email you back. So within 20 minutes, I got an email that said, yes, we changed the grip module to be more in line, believe it or not, with the macro polymer frame.
It still doesn't fit though.
No,
guess what?
Doesn't.
The new frame for the Legion doesn't fit the macro holster either. And they widened the trigger guard by 50 thousandths, which I know, technical term.
Just a little bit.
50 thousandths is about 1 inch when you're talking about fitment.
Yeah.
And they changed the frame over by the back of the light rail, the accessory rail, and up front by the front of the trigger guard. And
it didn't tell anyone.
They didn't tell anyone.
No. But it's the same with, like you were saying, the XLs.
So the XLs,
now they're changing those too.
So P365 XLs are MIA.
Yeah.
They're MIA from everywhere. And so I had somebody ask for it yesterday, and I'm like, I can get you, I think there was like 7 left on Lipsies that were like high caps. Mm-hmm. And they've been on closeout for a while, but the new ones normally populate. Like they'll put them into the system. They're not in the system yet. I think, and I don't know if you said this or somebody else said this, they're adding the rail from the macro onto the regular 365, but keeping the grip length, I think.
And changing the trigger guard shape.
And changing the trigger guard shape.
So all of that. So this is where it becomes a problem with holsters.
So then, will the macro holster just work for that then?
No.
Because they're not changing it enough. They're not changing the front of the frame or the slide to be in line. So you just change. It's like, they just change pieces, parts.
I'm glad it's just sell guns.
Engineers do things because they can, not because it makes sense. Come on.
Well, and then, somebody orders something on the website and they go, I have a P365 XL. Well, if I have 2 different versions and then you go, okay, which version? Because even if I put it out there, I want to verify. And I'm good about that with when I know that there might be glitches, like with Gen 5s, with Glocks and stuff and all that. And they'll go, I don't know. Well, I can send you a holster, but I can't guarantee it's going to fit because I don't know what you have.
So idea for you on the website, because when they're going to switch over. So, bought, manufactured, because all SIGs on the little label on the case say their manufacture date.
Yeah.
So you could do that whenever these get released. Might be an idea for you.
Yeah. No, it's...
Most customers don't know where to find that information too. So.
Covers your butt though.
Yeah.
Well, you should see. They call up and they go, I
have a 9mm Smith & Wesson. Can you make me a holster?
Yep.
Yeah. And you go, which one?
It's a 9mm.
And or they go, what do you mean?
They don't even have
dumbfounding. Okay, they come in here and like, I want a mag for my Smith & Wesson 9. Oh, what do you have? It's a 9.
It's a 9. Yep.
Or they go,
do you know how many Smith & Wesson 9mm are have been in the market?
But you can even tap that down more. I have a M&P 2.0. Okay.
There's so many.
I was going to
versions
say
of an
M&P 9 2.0.
Well, you can go
You
9.
still, I think you still have 2 dozen options there,
Yeah.
or
I'm
more.
Or more.
And I'm like, which one? I don't
Like,
know.
it's a short one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a short one. And then you've come to find out it's the 4.5-inch slide.
Don't they make like a 3?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And I'm like,
3.1, I think.
so you start listing all this off and they go,
yeah, I don't know what my actual gun is.
I'm like,
lot of
I
people
want to
don't.
give you what you need. I don't want to just send you something and then you're unhappy. That doesn't work.
No,
The whole
it
idea
doesn't.
is to make customers happy. That's why we got into this.
But as a gun owner, you have to know what you own. Really do.
You should.
It's going to help you, especially shopping for holsters, because if you don't know and you just order something, it's not going to work.
Yep.
And then you're unhappy.
Yep.
So you got to really know what you own.
No, absolutely.
All right, I got 2 or 3 questions. Do you do any holsters for law enforcement in Connecticut?
Yes.
Like contracts?
We have a sole source contract with City of Waterbury for their police department for all of their admin or off-duty holsters. They have the FN 509 with a Streamlight TLR7 and a SIG Romeo 1 Pro optic. So,
that's a combination there.
Yeah, it's an odd combo.
Yep.
I think the only other department is LAPD, Los Angeles, has the same guns, and that's where they were talking to their training officers and decided they were going to go with the 509 for Waterbury. So we picked up the contract with them. So we provide them with their off-duty holsters, even some level 2 holsters.
We do a lot for like not any kind of contracts otherwise, but we do a lot of police department, a lot of officers, because their duty gun has their duty holster.
Yeah.
And it's so big and bulky.
Yeah, they're like level 3s.
Right. Yep. And they don't want to be
Safari
carrying
lands.
that when they're either doing road jobs, depending on the department, either road jobs or if they're in the police department all day, if they're sitting at a desk. So, or they're just off on their off time, they want to carry their duty gun because they're already qualified with it.
Yeah.
So we do stuff from, I'd say at least 15 different, we've seen 15 different police departments walk through as far as officers. And then we also do the state. So we have quite a few staties come in and.
So like Glock 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aim point acros.
A couple
Southington uses aim point acros
Some
now
of
after
them.
the Bristol shooting.
Yep.
They went to them. I think Cheshire and Plainville did too. I think they have lights on them. I don't know what the light is though.
I think most departments, almost 99% of them have a light on them.
They're moving over into that. And like the stadies, they use the Nightstick 550 XL. So
Do the states have red dots on them or no?
No.
They all their guns.
They got all their new guns before Bristol happened.
Right before.
Okay.
So they don't have it in the budget to get
They're
all
not
new.
optic ready, are they?
No. They'd have to have their own slides cut for it.
Why would you use any foresight here? Good old state of Connecticut.
Exactly.
Well, it's just like highways. There's no foresight on anything when they were building. There's no foresight on buying things.
No. But it's, they talked about it. I know the officers coming in are wanting it. It's a matter of budgetary stuff. And with this state, you never know what the budget's going to be.
And we also carry duty belts, full-on police duty belts.
Yes.
So we've sold quite a few of those. Okay. 2.25 inch core essentials duty belts.
The cops, the officers that have bought them have been very, very pleased with them.
That's cool.
It keeps their pants up. They don't have to. Well, from wearing a duty belt, just with it pulls your pants down all the time. These don't.
Yeah.
You latch it in there, you click it in, boom, it stays. We had one officer give us a call. He had bought it, and that night he was going to be working 16 hours. So he was going in at night and working straight through. Yeah. He called us after he got off shift, and he goes, "Oh my God, I never touched my belt once." I was like, "Really? With all the weight?" He goes, "Not once. It fit fine." I was like, that is a huge accolade to that kind.
So here's a semi-loaded question for you. What's the biggest challenge running a firearms related business in today's regulatory environment in this wonderful state?
I think you and I have talked about this.
I was going to say, I think this
it's a Matt question.
It's a Matt question. How many times, but
how do you feel about it, Matt?
Yeah, it's challenging. It's hard because
well, you had 7042.
Yeah, it's 7042, which
you guys are. I give you the credit for, even though some other people might disagree. But then I had the video clip from Safstrom saying it. That you guys.
When I first saw that bill, I almost put my fist through a wall because it's accessories, and as we know, when we did testimony up in Hartford, I think it was Representative Blumenthal asked the lawyer for
one of the
Brady campaign.
Yeah, very condescending.
You know, like you said, I kept hearing about holsters. Holsters, is a holster a firearm accessory? And the lawyer said, yes, it is. That would have caught us up. And fortunately, it was taken out of the bill. So that's like the biggest challenges we face,
you guys
is getting caught up in all of these ridiculous gun laws.
You guys dodged the bullet on this bill. I didn't.
We still transfer. I still do storage. We still have storage transfers, and we still do certain firearm sales periodically for certain people. So we haven't totally dodged it, but we're not in the heat of it either.
Yeah,
right.
I am.
But
as an FFL owner,
yes.
I think I would be able to understand a gun bill.
Correct.
But
sorry, not a gun bill.
Not a gun bill. No.
But being in the industry, period, whether it affects me directly or it affects you directly, we're all in the same boat. If your store, for some reason, has a problem and gets sued, or you decide you're going to pack up and move out of this lovely state that we live in, I lose a customer. So correct. It does still affect all of us involved. And that's where it comes in, where we all have to stick together as a group. We can't pick and choose what laws we want or what proposed bills we want to fight. Mm-hmm. And if it has anything to do with guns, whether or not I have it or not, it pertains to me or not, I got to fight.
Fight them all. You have
to
fight them all.
We're all in it together. Yeah. And that's something that I think is missed along the way with certain people.
Yeah. Especially as of late.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people have no idea what we're talking about. And that's even more entertaining.
No, that means it's good. It means that they're not touched by it all.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
My last question.
Yep.
Where do you see PatriotWear Holsters in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, hopefully not in Connecticut.
I was going to say that was Michelle's answer.
And I beat you to it. Sorry.
We'll still ship to everybody. We'll still work with everybody, but I want out of here.
Yes. In the next 5 years, aside from, horrible Connecticut, expansion, being able to offer more carry accessories, new holster models.
I want a storefront.
A storefront.
Dedicated entrance.
Yes, a dedicated entrance.
So people don't walk into, the manufacturing facility before they get to the office to view samples and belts and everything else.
An actual showroom.
Yeah.
Yes. And, it just is someplace people can find us. It's hard sometimes, not all the time, for everybody to find us because we're in the way back.
Yeah.
In a warehouse.
I mean, you do have a door, sort of. I don't know how close that door is.
We've started. Actually, there is our logo we have up on the sign.
Yeah, it's on the side door. Yeah.
And I also have a sign that says, for entrance, if they want to use the side door, to call us as soon as they get to the door.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It just doesn't have a handle on it. It's a security door. Yeah. For security reasons, I can't change that around, but I can let people in that side door.
Because Jeff is the next door.
Correct.
Real World Concepts.
Correct.
Dropped a gun off the other day and then picked it up.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's Michelle's dedicated, not dedicated door.
You might do a Ring doorbell or something. Ooh. Eventually, yeah. So we can see who's out there.
We'll talk about that after. I got an idea for you guys.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's some things we're looking at doing. We're growing out of our space. So we do need a different location. Not because I'm not happy in my location. I don't want anybody to think I'm
you just need more space.
Stones.
Just need more space.
Yeah, it would.
That's a good problem in business, is to run out of space.
It is.
Yep.
Trust me, on the other side, I'm aware.
No, it's just a matter of just growing and, hopefully get the CNC up and running. I mean, it's going to take a while to get it running fully because of so much programming needs to be done.
You need to learn it too. It takes time.
But, it just one step at a time. We're always expanding different molds. We're always expanding different, ideas. We don't go crazy with our ideas. Our whole mission, even when we started this business, was not to come up with the newest and greatest. It was to perfect this true standard.
We're not trying to reinvent the holster wheel, so to speak. It's just keeping things simple. That's what people like.
And comfortable.
Yes.
And simple is
Make
comfortable.
It a good, reliable, comfortable holster that you want to come back and deal and buy more for future guns. So far, we're doing okay on that. People seem to be coming back, which is fantastic.
How many stores are you in Connecticut?
Currently, I think 6 or 7.
Something like that. Yeah.
There are some that don't order
as much
just because they don't know what to order and they've kind of slacked
Well,
off
so
a
like
little
my
bit.
stuff when
or
I
ebb
do
and flow.
when I do orders, I carry like common stuff, and that's what I always tell people. Like I have the common stuff, the Glock 43Xs, your 19s, your 45s, your 365, your 320s, the stuff that I sell a lot of.
Yep.
I don't carry the oddball stuff.
Well, and I have some stores that just will only order what a customer is asking for. So they do it as on a per basis, per need basis versus on the wall. And, me personally working the retail side for gun stores and for us, I think sometimes it helps to have the holsters on the wall.
Yep.
Because if you don't have them, many, many, many people will not ask for them. So they just think, oh, he doesn't carry it. So but it also depends on your sales staff and what you have and if they're going to keep people informed that you have the holsters.
Yeah.
I know some stores keep their holsters like in a back corner in the back of the shop. Well, if they can't see it, they don't know that you have it.
I think mine you can't see from the door, but you have to walk by it to get to the next room.
Correct.
Yep. So like they're there, or you'll bump into them, or scrape your arm on the peg. Either one.
And how you market them is going to depend on how many you sell too.
Yeah.
If you're just kind of putting them off in a corner somewhere that people don't frequent in your shop, you're probably not going to have people asking for them.
Yeah.
Right. It's
that's kind of what's happened to my magazines, to be honest. I have not been selling extra mags but they're right next to the ammo and like the long guns are below it.
Yeah.
But I cannot tell you the last time I've sold like an extra mag for a gun. And that has to do with the guns we've been selling. We've been selling a lot of SIGs, a lot of Glocks, 2 or 3 mags come in the box.
Yep.
And then that extra upsell of another $50 or I mean, Glocks are like 30, but like, I get it. So, but it's also where it's placed too.
Well, maybe this summer though, things might change because more people are doing competition. So they'll need more than just the 2.
They're doing classes. They need minimum of 3.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of custom mag orders.
Okay.
So
stuff you don't have in stock is just stuff they're looking for.
Yep. A couple days they come in. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add? Well, Matt first, because
he's special.
He's the special guest today.
I don't think so. I think we've covered just about everything, I think.
Yeah, if you have any questions, always reach out to us. For any of your carry needs, we are happy to help you out. We're happy to work with you or just hash stuff out if you don't even know what you're looking for.
We'll help you with all of that. If you don't know what you want, we can help you steer you in the direction you need
even
to
if
be.
It's not something we can do. We're happy to help you to, work with you to figure out what you're looking for.
We do referrals.
And mention you saw him from the podcast, guys. So that's always helpful too.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Matt.
Thanks so much for having me.
My name's Josh.
I'm Michelle.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Lock and Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock and Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock and Load Firearms.
Lock and Load Podcast is also sponsored by PatriotWear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNLPodcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.